What if I told you there was a way to build a hi-fi amplifier with state-of-the-art gallium nitride transistors, and you could do it yourself and save $1,000+ by building it? I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking it's some type of knockoff, something we bought from AliExpress. It's not. Don't believe me? Stay tuned. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it right now. Now this is the Orchard Audio Starkrimson Ultra. You can buy this by itself, or you can actually order the DIY kit directly from Orchard Audio. And this is one of the things that I really love about them. Now when you first get the kit, it's gonna look a little bit intimidating. There's a lot of parts to it, and there's still some things that you need to buy, but don't worry, we're gonna put those in the link down below. The truth of the matter though is this build is actually very easy, and for the most part, you don't even really have to solder. I mean, this is actually a build that I think most people could do just fine. Let's go ahead and start off with a case. Now with the case, there are all kinds of things you can do, but I chose to just use the recommended case that Orchard Audio has a link to. Now this is the exact case that Orchard Audio uses, and because of that, it has everything already laid out for you. All the holes are cut out, there's standoffs in it. It makes it for a much easier build. So for those that just want an easy build, this is definitely the way to go. However, for those that want something more of a unique build, know that you can obviously design and build your own case, or buy a case that's already designed, and you'll have your own unique amplifier case that you can put your own spin on. Now I did do the optional power capacitor upgrade rail, and I gotta say this is something that I would highly recommend everyone do. What this does, it allows energy to be stored up so that when your dynamics hit in your music, you have that energy ready for you. And I gotta say, that makes a big difference in how an amplifier performs. This is also what would be considered probably the hardest part of the build. Now you have to solder on each of the capacitors. There's 4 for each board. Luckily these are easily labeled so there isn't much confusion, and you also need to solder on a screw terminal. Now I gotta say, I used just what I had on hand, and it was really a mistake. If I had to do it over again, I would use the ones that Leo recommends, and I linked it down in the description. Those ones just give you a little bit more room for some of the thicker cables that are going to be coming from the power supply. This helps prevent the wires from touching and shorting out. With some of those smaller ones that like I used, this was a lot harder to do. Now that I have all my prep work done, it's time to go ahead and start building this amplifier. First thing to do is put one of the amplifier modules on the case. Here's the deal. This should be really simple, just a few screws, although it became a little bit more complicated, and here's the reason why. If you take a look at the Starkrimson amplifier, the heatsink is actually on the bottom of the amplifier board, and that heatsink was actually taller than the standoffs that were included in the case. And because of that, I needed some spacers that would, rise it up a little. Now the cool thing is, no matter what, I needed to buy standoffs because I needed standoffs for the capacitor board. So I bought this kit from Amazon that included some really small, tiny spacers, along with some bigger ones I needed later, and this worked perfectly. Now, one of the complaints I hear a lot on hi-fi communities is they don't know what type of wiring is used inside their amplifiers or speakers. Here's the deal. With this kit, you get to choose what type of wiring you want to go. You can go very cheap with something like copper clad aluminum, or you can go really expensive and go something like a platinum or a gold or oxygen-free copper. You can use whatever you really want. The only thing Leo does say is to use about 16 gauge for the power and something around 22 gauge for all of your signal cables. And it is recommended also to color code them. That way you can tell easily if you're having any issues where that issue might reside. Other than that though, just twist your wires together and you just screw them in from one amplifier board to the other. Now you might not know exactly where that goes. That's okay. Leo has you covered with a 10-part video series on his own YouTube channel that shows you exactly where each wire goes. Now an amplifier is only going to be as good as its power supply, and Leo picked out what is arguably one of the best power supplies on the market in the HiFi 1200 watt power supply. Now this power supply can be run at 120 or 240 volts. If you want to run it at 120, you're just going to add a jumper here, which is what I did. Now, if you're running at 240, you're just going to ignore everything I just said. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, it depends on where you live in the world. And the great thing about Orchard Audio is they do offer worldwide shipping, so anyone can buy and build this amp if they want to. Now, you might think installing something this heavy would be hard. It's not. You just screw in a couple screws from the bottom, and once you do that, you have that power supply mounted. You don't have to worry about it from here on out. Now that power supply is hooked up to a soft start module, and that soft start module is really important because it not only protects the electronics inside the amplifier, but it also protects your speakers that you have hooked up to it. So if you've ever turned on an amplifier and you've heard that pop through your speakers that can really damage those, well, that's prevented with that soft start module. So it's really important that it's in there. It's also important that you wire it correctly. Now, there's only a couple things that wire to this. There's, of course, your power button on the front panel and also your IEC socket, along with the power supply itself. Now, the IEC socket, there's only 3 wires that plug up. One is a ground wire. Now, this ground wire could be wired all the way over to your amplifier modules, but since your amplifier modules are already grounded to the case, you can also just connect this to the case, which is what I did. It's a much shorter run and makes things a little less convoluted. The other 2 wires go directly to your input. It doesn't matter which one goes where. Now, since I'm running 120, I did have to bridge the connectors, which actually came supplied already with it. And then the output, you want to use the 2 middle outputs. Once you do that, you now have your soft start module all plugged up and are ready to go. The only thing you have left is to connect your inputs and outputs. And this is actually a lot easier than you would think. From the back panel, you have the choice of RCA or XLR, and most people just choose one or the other, although I did talk with Leo and he said it is possible to hook both of them up. Now, I have the RCA on here, but I chose just to hook up the XLR. Now, one of the great things about the XLR is I know not all of you like to solder, and I did find these XLR units which actually allow you to connect the wire with just some screw terminals. All you're gonna have to do is wire that directly to the board, and I should say you actually needed to do that before you put those capacitor boards on because, well, you can't get to the screws to tighten it down if you didn't. And you're also gonna need to short out the RCA if you're not using those. The last thing you're going to want to do is hook up the binding post. Now, the binding post, once again, you can use whatever quality you want. I chose the binding post that Orchard Audio uses. They're from Dayton Audio, and I have to say I really like those binding posts a lot, so there was no compromise there. These are very easy to install. You just solder 1 wire to it, and it literally plugs right into the amplifier board. I mean, it is very simple to install. Once this is all done, your amplifier is ready to turn on. Now, I recommend you turn it on right now before you get everything buttoned up and put the top on. Now, you're going to want to do this because you want to double check your wiring and make sure everything powers on correctly. Once you've done that, then you can go ahead and button it up. Now, some of you might be nervous about taking on a project like this. I would tell you to calm down. Don't worry about it. One of the things that really surprised me was how responsive Leo was, who's the owner of Orchard Audio. He was very responsive and got back to me with any questions that I had throughout the build and made sure that it was all buttoned up correctly. And I gotta say, I was really impressed with the service I got from him. But was it worth the savings by doing it myself? It was well worth the savings by doing it myself. In fact, I am glad that I did because not only do I have an amplifier that sounds amazing, but it's also one that I can show my friends and say, I built that. Now, the last thing that you probably want to know is how does it sound? Let me tell you this. I first wanted to test this out with whatever speakers I had next to me, and believe it or not, the ones I had next to me were just some inexpensive pair of Dayton Audio speakers. They were about $100. I plugged these things up to that amplifier, and I was amazed. It was a complete transformation of those speakers. Those speakers sounded significantly better than they've ever sounded before. And the tonality of this amplifier was very relaxed. I loved it. And this sounded better than any of the other DIY amplifiers or any of the other amplifiers that I've hooked up to it. Now, I did use the SMSL DO200 DAC. I'll make sure to link that down in the description. And this worked out to be a really great combination. It was absolutely worth the cost of the kit. Now, if you like this video and you like saving money by doing things yourself, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to like the video. And if you really enjoyed this video and you want to support me and maybe get some behind the scenes look, make sure to join my Patreon. I'd be happy to have you. All right, guys, this is Toyd's DIY Audio, and I'm out.